how to do a rolling upgrade of CloudBees CI on modern cloud platforms. Here's today's starting point. I have a CloudBees CI installation that's running version 2.440.1.4. That's both on my Operations Center and also on the one managed controller that I've already set up. What I'm going to attempt to show you is the ability for CloudBees CI to have jobs continue to run even while you are upgrading a version of a controller. So what I have is I have a job defined on MC1 that's a 15-minute job. It won't take that long, but you'll soon see how that job will keep running even while the controller version is being upgraded from an older version to a newer version. Now this MC1 controller is set up as a high availability controller. Let's take a look at the configuration for that. So we'll go back to the Operations Center, we'll click on Configure, and let's take a look at specifically how it's set up. We've turned on high availability. I also have 2 replicas set up, so that means I have 2 replicas running right now. I've also got 3 replicas set up for my maximum number of replicas. And you also notice that my storage class name is I'm using NFS. So in order to have HA controllers, I have to be using NFS as my storage class. So key thing to remember here, I have 2 controller replicas running. How can I check that? Well, if we go ahead and go over to our shell, I'm checking out the pods in my CloudBees core namespace. I'm going to watch it. So what we'll see here is I have 1 pod for CJOC-0, that's my Operations Center pod. And then I also have 2 pods for my MC1 controller. I have one that ends in VJ and I have one that ends in BN. So let's go ahead and quit out of this get pods. And what we want to do is we want to go ahead and upgrade to the most recent version at the time of recording of CloudBees CI. How do I know how to do that? Well, let's go ahead and do a Helm search to find the latest version of the chart. So I'm going to go ahead and paste in my Helm search repo, looking for the chart for CloudBees Core. I'm going to list them all out. So right now I'm running the version of 2.440.1.4. So at this point, the newest version of the chart is going to be the one for 2.440.2.1. So we're going to be moving from this version to this version. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this chart version and we'll do an upgrade using this chart version. So let's go ahead and go back down to the bottom. Let's go ahead and paste in Helm upgrade, CloudBees Core, the namespace, and the version of the chart that we're going to be upgrading to. Now for this, it's only going to be upgrading the Operations Center. Once we get the Operations Center completely upgraded, then we'll go in and upgrade our controller. Okay, according to the output, it looks like our Operations Center is back up. Let's go ahead and check that out. We'll click on Dashboard. We'll need to log in. And then for our Operations Center, if we look down in the bottom right-hand corner, we'll see that we're running 2.440.2.1. So our Operations Center is fully upgraded to the new version. However, for our controller, we are still running our controller at 2.440.1.4. So let's go ahead and go into our controller and start that 15-minute job. Now, in this case, my 15-minute job, just taking a look at the configuration, is I'm setting up my agent, and then I'm just looping through and printing out a number every 6 seconds. So I have 150 iterations. It's sleeping every 6 seconds. So this job is just going to keep running. The key part to this is we'll start the job and we'll be able to watch the console log for the job to make sure that job continues running even while the controller is being upgraded. Now again, the key part to this, we have 2 replicas for our controller at this starting point. So what's going to happen is one of those replicas is going to be taken offline. We'll get a new version in place while the old version is there. Once the new version is completely in place, the old version will go offline, and then we'll have the second replica come in that has the same version as the replica that we initially started out replacing with. So let's click on Save and click on Build Now. First, we'll make sure that the job is running. So we'll go ahead and take a look at our job. Now that the job has started running, we can see our output for the 0 here. It's going to sleep for 6 seconds. Then we get the next in that iteration. So at this point, the job is running as we expect. Let's go ahead and go back over to our shell. Let's start watching our pod. We can see that we have our agent pod. This is our 15-minute job. And we have our 2 MC1 pods, one that ends in VJ and one that ends in BN. At this point, let's go ahead and upgrade the controller. So I'm going to open up the Operations Center in a new tab. I'm going to go into the configuration for the controller, click on Configure. Let's go ahead and go down to our Docker image field. Let's change this from the 440.1.4 to the 440 2.1. And let's go ahead and click on Save. Now we can see a rolling restart is in process. Let's go back over to our shell. We can see that there's new pods coming online. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the controller underneath. We can see that we're still clicking off 13 and 14. We can see that the container is still creating for the FD item. We can see that FD is up and running. We're still processing our job. 15, 16, 17. We're still in the process of waiting for the older pods to start spinning down. We see that our new FD is up and running. We're waiting on the VJ and BN to start terminating. We can see here that BN is terminating. We can see a new DB is pending and creating. So that's our second instance. So we had the FD start up, then we had a termination of BN. Once BN was in process of terminating, we had a DB starting up. Notice what happened in our job. We went from 18, 19, 20, 21. Then we saw a resuming build. What happened is this agent was connected to a controller replica. That replica went offline. That agent saw that it was no longer connected. It reconnected over to the existing replica that was still running, the new replica that was running. It disconnected from the old replica and connected to the new replica, the new version of the replica. And then as that older replica went away, it's being processed and being brought back up. Notice our job is still running. It never stopped running, even for an upgrade of our controller. Let's go back over to our shell. We can see that VJ is now terminating. Let me go ahead and quit this and let's start it back up again and see the state that we're at. We can see that our VJ is gone. We can see that our BN is gone. We have our FD and our DB. Notice that our job never ceased to run. But you'll notice one thing. You'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner, it still says 440.1.4. Why is that? Well, this page does not automatically fully refresh. So in order for me to see the change in that bottom right-hand corner, I'm going to need to do a hard refresh of this page. And now you can still see the job is running, 35, 36, 37. But down in the bottom right-hand corner is the version 2.440.2.1. Let's go back over to our Operations Center. We can see that everything started up as expected within our Operations Center. Let's go back to the dashboard for the Operations Center. And what we'll see here is that both our Operations Center is running at 2.440.2.1 as well as our MC1 controller, again, at 2.440.2.1. What that means is I was able to successfully have a job fail over to another replica while the replica was being replaced. But that replica wasn't just being replaced with the same version of what it used to be, the 1.4, but that replica was being replaced with a brand new version, the 2.1. So being able to go ahead and have our jobs continue running even during a controller upgrade should be able to help you with uptime as a CloudBees CI administrator. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach out to us on X at CloudBees. If this video was helpful to you, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to CloudBees TV yet, why not? Take a moment, click on that subscribe button, and then ring that bell, and you'll be notified anytime there's new content available on CloudBees TV. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.